Goodneighbor is a place filled with decent residents from the Commonwealth. They all get along well and cooperate in their daily activities. Unfortunately, they had a problem. That problem was removed, but it didn't go far. The problem positioned itself on the nearby rooftop. Before we get into the details, please remember to leave a like and comment if you'd like to see more videos like this one. So to get to the problem, there is a staircase next to the building leading all the way up, where we can see a house. This house is owned by Stan Wilkins, who is the problem that I'm talking about. After the exile, Stan built himself this house mostly so he can have a clear view of Goodneighbor. The house is rather simple. There's a table near the entrance that holds the most valued items Stan has when he is exploring the nearby areas. There are multiple shelves containing various items that he uses from time to time, a large amount of them raider gear that he managed to take from his victims. He spends most of his time on the balcony, sitting right here in this chair, looking at Goodneighbor and planning. He has a file on the small table where he keeps scribbling different ideas and ways of going back, but he is still not ready. A part of his day is spent listening to the radio, specifically the Silver Shroud, which helps motivate him to achieve his goal. As we go back in the house, the opposite end is reserved for a small fenced-off storage and generator area. It is out in the open, which electrocuted Stan a couple of times and ruined his power, but he fixes it every time and he enjoys fixing it because every electrocution just proves that he is still alive and can feel. Going through the broken door on the right takes us to the workshop and crying area. The crying is done in the company of beer. Stan spent a lot of time bringing this fridge up the stairs just so he can fill it up with beer. He sits on the chair and looks at a toy that is basically a teddy bear version of himself. Beer in one hand, glasses stabbed in the back, and with a bone saw in the other hand. You see, Stan was invited to Goodneighbor a few years ago because he seemed like a nice guy. Over time, he built a desire to stab. This desire kept growing with each day, but one day he found a teddy bear. It became an essential part of his life, and he used it to control his stabbing urge. One day he got into an argument with another resident, who then proceeded to steal Stan's teddy in the middle of the night and burn it on a stick. The next day, Stan lost control. He stabbed the resident exactly 47 times with his switchblade and was promptly exiled from the community. With the lack of his teddy, he kept going through the Commonwealth stabbing everyone using all sorts of weapons. His initial weapon was the switchblade, which was a very efficient stabbing tool and brought him a lot of satisfaction, especially when the stabbing needed to be very quick. This wasn't enough though, he needed more. He came across a combat knife and used it to viciously stab a machine turret. The explosion from the destruction didn't affect him in any way because his stabbing desire was so strong it gave him immense power. With that power he continued stabbing people in the neck with the goal of achieving decapitation. It didn't take long because his next victim suffered that exact fate. Along the way he picked up the Pickman's knife, that was also a very good tool to destroy anyone in his way. After a while he got impatient, his stabbing urge was growing and he needed more satisfaction. He got himself a machete and started slicing and dicing through mutants, which actually helped him. By channeling his urge through slicing rather than stabbing, he was able to gain control over his disease. Now, after many months, with his new home and a crappy teddy bear replacement, he is getting closer to implementing his plan to obliterate everyone in Goodneighbor. His workshop area contains a weapons rack of all the items he encountered while roaming through the world, and when necessary he does slight repairs to them. If we go upstairs, we will get to the area where Stan sleeps and eats. The most important item is located above his bed. The Krem's tooth is a weapon he managed to obtain after swimming through the nearby sewers and finding it on the bottom within one of the pipes. Turns out this is a special machete that can be used both for slicing and stabbing, and it has advanced properties that will allow him to get rid of everyone in Goodneighbor, as long as he can maintain control. The second fridge that he has is used as storage for all of his extra stabbing weapons. There are over 100 pieces of sharp objects inside, all carefully aligned and preserved. The poster in his room is something he found and decided to dedicate to his teddy bear. He will never forget the suffering his friend went through, and he will avenge him as soon as he is able to get himself under control. Stabby Stan is not a problem. He is a man who got pushed into doing something he did not want to do, and he lost everything in the process. The only thing that keeps him going is revenge, and he finds every single person within Goodneighbor responsible for what happened. He will not quit, and he cannot die, because I created him and he will live for as long as I say so. That is the power of writing, my friend. Thank you for watching, and remember to give me suggestions in the comments, otherwise I will stop doing these videos and switch to playing Roblox. I have been Petard, your glorious lord, and may the blessings of Petard Craftardia eternally touch your butt.